This is a picture of an astronaut. An astronaut is a person who travels into outer space. Outer space is way up in the sky where the moon and stars are. Listen to today's story to find out the name of an American woman who became an astronaut when she grew up. This is a true story about Sally Ride, who became famous as the first American woman to travel into outer space. She was a scientist and an astronaut. When Sally was a little girl, she loved playing sports like tennis and football. She was strong and adventurous. She enjoyed doing her schoolwork and learned as much as she could about science. When she was a little girl, she watched rockets launch into space on TV. She thought it was really exciting to see astronauts go into space. Those lucky people got to fly higher into the sky than anyone had ever been. Boys and girls, give me a thumbs up if you work hard at school. Give me a thumbs up if you would like to be an astronaut when you grow up. What kinds of things might you do if you were an astronaut? Sally Ride worked hard in school. She learned about the stars and about how machines like cars and rockets work. She decided she wanted to be an astronaut and fly into space. People said to her, "Sally, it's really hard to be an astronaut." And she answered, "Just you see, I'm going to be an astronaut." When she was finished going to school, Sally got a job as an American astronaut. Sally Ride became a member of a team of astronauts. These astronauts all worked together to fly a big space shuttle high up into the sky, higher than any airplane could fly. Boys and girls, a team is a group of people who all work together to get something done. This is Sally Ride's team of astronauts. You can have a team of football players, a team of soccer players, or a team of astronauts. Give me a thumbs up if you've ever been on a team. If you had your thumb up, what kind of team were you on? Give me a thumb up if you would like to be on a team of astronauts. On launch day, Sally and the other astronauts put on their spacesuits and got ready to go into space. They heard the countdown: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! The space shuttle blasted into space. The picture on the left shows a space shuttle blasting off into space. The tip of the space shuttle is pointed straight up into the sky, into outer space. There is a lot of fire shooting out of the bottom of the rocket. The white part is the part of the space shuttle where the astronauts ride. I'm going to read the part about the blast off again. This time, I want you to count down with me. We're going to start at 10 and count backwards to 1. And when I say blast off, I want you to jump up in the air like you're going into outer space. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Great job. Sally and her teammates lived inside the space shuttle for 6 days as it flew around and around the Earth. They looked out the window and saw planet Earth below them. They took pictures and learned about Earth and the sky. This is how Earth looked when Sally Ride looked out of her space shuttle's window. The green part is the land. The blue part is water, like in the ocean. And the white swirls are clouds. Up here is outer space and the stars. Who has been outside during the night and seen the black sky, the stars, and the moon? Well, Sally flew her spaceship up near the moon. Sally learned that life is different for astronauts living in a space shuttle high up in the sky. She wore a special space suit. She ate special food. Her body floated in the air, even inside the space shuttle. Sally Ride thought it was fun to float. She could do somersaults in the air. When their work was done, Sally Ride and the astronauts flew the space shuttle carefully down out of the sky and landed back on Earth again. Boys and girls, this is a picture of Sally Ride inside the space shuttle. And all of these buttons and levers are for her driving the space shuttle. You can see she's wearing her special spacesuit. She has a microphone near her mouth so she can talk to the people on her team. Can you see how she's floating in the air? In space, there isn't any gravity, so everyone floats around. Can you imagine just floating through the air like that? It sounds like a lot of fun. Many years later, Sally Ride still remembered her first trip into space. She remembered when the rocket blasted off. "There's so much power. There is so much thunder," she said. She remembered looking out the window. "I saw the blackness of space and then the bright blue earth," she said. Every chance she could, she shared the excitement of science and space with kids. She wanted everyone, girls and boys, to know that they could become scientists and astronauts if they wanted to be. Boys and girls, when we listened to this story, we heard the word outer space. I want you to listen for the word space while I read that part of the story to you. This is a true story about Sally Ride, who became famous as the first American woman to travel into space. She was a scientist and an astronaut. Space is the area far above the Earth and the sky. Sometimes people call it outer space. Say outer space with me. Outer space. In this picture, we can see Sally Ride's space shuttle in outer space. The black part of the picture is outer space, and below the space shuttle is Earth. Outer space is all around Earth, where we live. I want you to take a minute and go look up into the sky where outer space is. We can't see all the way into outer space during the daytime, but we can point to where it is. Tonight, before you go to bed, look up into the sky and see the moon and stars. The moon and stars are in outer space. The word space can also mean something else. It can mean the area around something. If there isn't enough space around something, it can be hard to fit or get around it. If we don't leave enough space when we push in the chairs, people can get stuck on the way to the bathroom. When we are in our classroom, we all need to make sure to give each other enough space to do our work. If someone is playing with the blocks and another student wants to play too, they should check to make sure there is enough space for everyone. If we don't give our friends enough space, they will feel crowded. We heard a true story today about this woman. Do you remember what her name is? Sally Ride. Do you remember what her job was? An astronaut. Do you remember what an astronaut does? They fly space shuttles into space. Do you remember what is happening in this picture? They are launching the space shuttle or blasting it off. Look at this picture. Can you point to outer space? Can you point to Earth? Can you point to Sally Ride's space shuttle? I want you to pretend that you are an astronaut just like Sally Ride. Pretend you're in the space shuttle. What are you wearing? Are you floating in the air or sitting in a seat? Can you talk using your microphone? What might you see if you look out the window? Would you like to be an astronaut when you grow up? If you would, what would be your favorite thing about being an astronaut? Sally Ride decided to be an astronaut. Decided means made a choice. Sally made up her mind that she wanted to fly into space when she grew up. She made a choice, so she decided. Can you say the word decided with me? Decided. Sally Ride decided she wanted to be an astronaut. Sally Ride decided to work hard in school and learn a lot about science. Sally Ride decided to become a member of a team of astronauts. Sally Ride decided to drive a space shuttle as it launched into space. Sally Ride decided to look out of the space shuttle's window and see Earth below. Sally Ride decided to do somersaults inside the spaceship. Sally Ride decided to tell lots of people what it was like to be an astronaut.